Hello! I'm pretty sure I have to dorm to myself today because it's Halloween night, so had to be a loser to be home alone. Hello YouTube, today we're going to be looking at 6 different animals that has anime moves. Boy, I sound like a weeb. So in Jujutsu Kaisen, characters like Choso and Noritoshi Kamo have the cursed technique of blood manipulation, with their signature move being piercing blood. Now, you might be wondering which animal could possibly do that, and believe it or not, it's none other than the horned lizard, or more commonly known as the horny toad, or horned toad, even though it's a lizard. Who's naming these guys, bro? The horned lizard uses a defense called autohemorrhaging. Autohemorrhaging is the voluntary exudation or ejection by certain insects of blood, which is nauseous or poisonous and hence protective against enemies. Using 2 muscles around their major eye veins located behind their eye, they constrict blood flow to their heart, which allows blood to build up in their head, mostly in the ocular sinus. When enough pressure has built up, tiny blood vessels in the sinus rupture, shooting blood out of its eyes. Similarly, in Jujutsu Kaisen, Choso and Otoshi Kamo use convergence to condense blood to its limits. This allows them to build up pressure, and by clapping their hands together, they use it as a barrel to shoot up a high jet stream of blood. Now also in Jujutsu Kaisen, Sukuna performs the same move except with water, which brings me to the next animal, which is archerfish. By moving their tongue to the roof of their mouth, the fish forms a barrel-like shape. The water is then shot out when they contract their gills, which compresses their mouth cavity and forces a jet of water out. What's cool is they use this to knock their prey into the water, and what's even cooler is, since water diffracts light and distorts, they take light refraction and gravity into consideration, which is like, what? As you may know, or may not know I guess, a jellyfish called Turritopsis dorai is known for being immortal. And that's immortal with a quotation mark. And why do I say that though? Near the end of their lifespan, they undergo transdifferentiation. That is the process of changing a mature cell from one type to another without going through the stem cell change. If you didn't understand that, neither did I. So, near the end of their lifespan, the immortal jellyfish will absorb their tentacles back into their body and become like a cyst that sinks to the bottom floor of the ocean, Inside the cyst, enzymes protect the jellyfish's DNA, while its body turns back into a baby polyp. This polyp will then spawn off 10 to 12 other polyps that are each identical to the parent through budding over time. And I'm not explaining what budding is because too much work. If you want to guess which I've associated this animal with, feel free to pause and guess. But I've chosen none other than Shadow Clone Jutsu from Naruto. Shadow Clone Jutsu is a technique in Naruto where the user creates physically identical versions of themselves. I think you see why I chose it, but in case someone's slow, the immortal jellyfish creates identical clones of itself, just like in Naruto with Shadow Clone Jutsu. The mantis shrimp is by far one of the strongest shrimps out there. They're able to strike their prey at speeds of 25 to 50 miles per hour or 12 to 23 meters per second for my European folks. Using their hammer-like appendages, they strike so fast it creates cavitation bubbles, which are just small implosions that create heat, light, and sound. This allows the shrimp to have the capability to kill its prey in one due to it having the same force as a .22 caliber or 1500 newtons of force. Now of course this depends on the prey it's going for, but oftentimes it only takes one. And now you already know it's been compared to One Punch Man and the move Serious Punch, cause come on, I don't need to explain that. Coming to our last two, for number 2 we have sea slugs. For sea slugs, I actually want to talk about 2 different types. The first one's a Saccoglosson, and the other's a nudibranch. Guys, when I say slugs are super interesting, I like, oh my goodness, there's so much more interesting than I thought. They're underrated, I'm not kidding. So the first one's called the Elysia chlorotica. I probably said that wrong. This slug is able to steal the chloroplast off plants so it can perform photosynthesis. Like, what? Okay, if you tell me a slug can perform photosynthesis, I wouldn't have believed you at first, but this is actually crazy. They do so by consuming a certain plant called the Vicura litoria. I probably said that wrong. And by using its radula to pierce the algae cell, it keeps the chloroplast intact. They then store the chloroplast in its digestive diverticula, and this process is known as keptoplasy, and the chloroplast will last around a year. So there's also a certain slug that can steal jellyfish stingers and use it for themselves as a defensive technique. So they steal stinging cells called nematocytes
Nematocyst
from prey like jellyfish and sea anemones. They do so by eating the nematocytes and produce a mucus that prevents them from getting stung. The nematocytes are then passed through their digestive tract and stored in a sac called the nidosac, where they can shoot them out when needed. and I didn't know what to compare this to. I was originally going to do the Manoa's Quirk from My Hero, or Predator from that time I got reincarnated as slime, but I kept doing research and bro, I don't know which one to pick even right now. It's just know that out there, there's one move out there. Final animal we have relates to what I would consider one of the best animes out there. So ladies and gentlemen, we have the ectotherms. And they're not one animal, sorry. Ectotherms consist of starfish, sea cucumbers, and more. These guys have an ability called mutatable connective tissue, or MCT. That means they're able to go from soft to solid as a defense mechanism by changing the chemical bonds that link their collagen fibers in the skin. In an attack on Titan, specifically shifting Titans, while their skin doesn't harden, they're able to create crystal-like substances over their body to increase defense. And just like the sea cucumber or the starfish, they can select certain areas or their whole body. And sadly, that is all that I have for you guys today. Please like this video, have a nice day, and God bless.